What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So I got a comment on one of my videos, and like I told you guys, one of the best ways to go ahead and resolve a lot of this is we just make a video and we point out more data and more evidence that shows that what we've always kind of perceived about PlayStation, according to some people, they call it the Apple effect, is actually not exactly the case. Even crazier is, in my opinion, I strongly believe that they just have that perception of Apple, but they really are Motorola in disguise. Now, I say this not because I want to troll. I mean, there's a side of me that would love to do that, but there's also the other side of me that I think more importantly than trolling is to go ahead and inform people as to where it is the market is going, how they should basically go about their gaming. And strongly, I believe that if you really want the best for your gaming, you should come to PC. And I even think that even PlayStation themselves should come to PC. So where did this all start from? My last video where I said, Marvel Spider-Man 2 had a wasted sales opportunity. I made sure I qualified that in my, title and all. And somebody came around and said that the video that I made was dumb. Now, I wondered, I said, why did they say the video was dumb? Like, what have I done again this time? I'm always getting these kinds of comments. And they said, it was the fourth best-selling game of the year. It came out in October. This video is dumb. I'll add to this. And then they started going around talking about Starfield and so on and so forth. Now, many of you who actually remember what this video was about, if you were paying attention, you would know that in this particular video, I said that if Marvel Spider-Man 2 was on PC, it would probably have knocked Starfield or Cyberpunk out of that list. So this person is agreeing with me that the game sold well, and I'm saying that it would have sold well on PC, yet they're saying that the video is dumb. I think a lot of these PlayStation fans, I think for the most part, they basically respond with their feelings rather than actually sit down and consider what is being said, because for the most part, what is being said is in line with exactly what it is that they actually think. But because they're jumping in on something without even, considering the ramifications, they sometimes sound kind of crazy after everything is all said and done. And this is where the big challenge is in having this conversation, because nobody wants to really make sense when it comes to looking at the details, when it comes to looking at the info, and when it comes to looking at the data. Now, one reason that I even made this video specifically, this is not a video that I made likely. This is, this was a video that I said to myself, if we're going to be looking at the data, why would I even say that PlayStation's, sales for Marvel Spider-Man is a challenge for them? The reason I say that is because they say that. Now, there is an article that came out that was actually part of the leaked documents from back when the hack actually showcased. This is pretty much what was going on around the time. So there's an article here on IGN. There's another article here on Twisted Voxel. And then here's the document here on NeoGAF that people are getting the information from. And I'll go through what it is that's being said, okay? So apparently, Sony reportedly pressured its studios to make big cuts amid increasing development costs. In this article, the breach is what they actually highlight. They talk about how the hackers requested 50 Bitcoin or around $2 million, and that didn't happen, and they went ahead and leaked everything. So apparently what's going on here is, according to IGN, I'm going to read this paragraph for you so that you can see. Meanwhile, the documents reveal internal concern at the growing development cost of Insomniac's games. According to Kotaku's report on the breach, Spider-Man 2 development costs ran $30 million over its original $270 million, and ultimately needs to sell 7.2 million units to break even. Now, we know that the game sold about 5 million copies in the first month and change, and about 6 million copies. The 7.2 million copies in terms of sales is something that was eventually possibly going to be realized, but they have not been profitable in that regard. This was the crux, according to this person, of my video that was ignored in order for this person to come and tell me that the video that I made is dumb. Let me even give you guys another bonus here, because, like I usually say, it is very difficult to make sense when people don't want to honestly embrace what is true. Just scrolling down in the comments, another person comes in and says, VG Fight School, they already revealed all these documents were fake. So no, Sony does not think their model is outdated. Come on, man, do better. PS5 is selling like hotcakes. God of War Ragnarok sold 12 million last time I checked in May, and it will sell a lot more when it launches on PC a year or two from now. Game Pass, a supposedly new and better model, is not working for Xbox. It didn't boost console sales, and if Microsoft doesn't care about console sales and only software sales and sub, why don't they go third party? This is a stupid... Let me calm down. Do you see what I'm dealing with, folks? Do you see what I'm doing with? And be done with selling a boatload of hardware. Software and subs are outdated model. You think you really need a form of opinion by yourself and stop believing what the YouTube experts say. This person is highly dishonest with their response. This is the problem that we're facing. You see, if you follow these dreamers, they're not even dreamers. A dreamer actually literally wants the best outcome. If you follow these people that are delusional, these deluded people, you're going to be misled. And you see, for the most part, a lot of these so-called fanboy accounts on YouTube, on Twitter, who have refused to embrace the data and the reality, don't want to tell you the truth. Many of them have egg on their face. Some of them are coming to the realization and they're saying the truth now. But I said it and I will say it again. If Starfield was on the PC platform and was able to do well from a sales perspective. And don't come here and give me that, oh, well, Starfield is not that great of a game, blah, blah, blah. That's not the argument that I'm making. That's you just trying to deflect the inevitable truth that you know that Marvel Spider-Man will sell well on PC if PlayStation will bring it there day one. You know this reality. It is a reality that even, it doesn't matter who you are, you have to go back and deal with it, because look at the list here. Many of you are already seeing the list, right? You're seeing the list and Starfield is on this list. If PlayStation's Spider-Man 2 was on this list and released on PC this year in 2023, well, this past year anyways, in 2023, it would have knocked off one of these games from this list. My biggest guess is Starfield would have been the one that was knocked off. That is my argument that I'm making. The argument that these people are trying to generate out of thin air that I'm making is a lie. They want to deflect, they want to turn around, and they want to say things like the documents are fake. Who proved that the documents are fake? If you prove that the documents are fake, you'd have to prove that the whole Wolverine leak is fake. Some of you think most of us are stupid and we don't understand logic or understand any reasoning as to what's going on. This is the biggest flaw in your argument. You presume that we're dunces, and that doesn't really help. In order for you to actually be able to come to terms with exactly what's going on, I recommend, ladies and gentlemen, that these folk out here that are constantly talking about, how Xbox's Game Pass is this and Xbox, they need to first go maybe subscribe to Game Pass, because most of them they've never used Game Pass before. They sit down and disparage it from across the road. Oh, Game Pass looks like it has games that I don't have. Game Pass looks like it's a system that doesn't even really make sense. And if it's, if it's doing so well, why don't Xbox go third party? See, in your dreams, Xbox is going to go third party. Okay. When I was saying since 2017 that Xbox came ready to actually put their foot on Sony's neck, many of you said Sony was going to be fine. Now, Sony is saying that, man, our business model is outdated. Sony's PlayStation themselves is saying our cost of development is insane. They're telling Insomniac, right? Insomniac Games, who's been basically carrying this studio, bringing out good title sequences in very good time. They're telling them that they need to go ahead and, implement cuts. What in the world is going on? Have you ever seen something like that before? And they're working on a lot of other titles. Literally, they want to pull people from Ratchet and Clank to come in and, or the Wolverine team or whatever, to come and join the Wolverine team, when in reality, what they need to do is they need to expand. I mean, take, for instance, Ubisoft Massive. If some of you really think that this is normal behavior for, a company that should be making strides to grow, then I'm sure you probably have been living under a rock. That's the thing. A bubble is very bad. And most of these PlayStation fans, you live in a bubble. You don't want to admit truth. Ubisoft Massive is a studio out of Sweden. This is the company that developed the Division 1 and the Division 2. This is the company that developed the Avatar game and are making the Star Wars game. And now they have announced that they're making a Division 3 game. That studio started to grow its developer base and has now reached close to 800 developers. They built a new building, taking their investment from the Division 1, and went ahead and put more developers in there, and they're churning out these games like crazy. They can support a live service game. They use sister studios all over the place in order for them to be able to get the job done, providing different varieties of games. They're bringing out single player games. That's the newest one that they're adding to their coffers. So for these studios under Ubisoft of all places to be able to get this job done because of the right investment, while Sony, even in the face of its so-called highest or fourth highest selling game, is having trouble basically keeping its own people. You must admit that there seems to be something out of place with all of that. So tell me again how this video is dumb when you are the one who's refused to accept the reality in front of you. Thanks so much for watching. Happy New Year. This year is the year where we're basically we've basically been gifted a lot of details as to what's going on. PlayStation is not the so-called Apple we think it is. They're more like Motorola in the grand scheme of things. Let's just call it what it is. They're selling based on the customer base that they built last year and on the brand name. But when it comes to profits, it's going to be very tough for them to be able to do their old shenanigans of padding themselves with third-party games and moving forward. I've said this before. Once all these agreements eventually get expired, what you're going to see is many of these companies are going to be reluctant to do business with PlayStation solely. Why? Because for the most part, they basically leveraged something that, was basically a perception more than anything else. Everyone now is going to be willing to put their games everywhere because there are people that can play them. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Thanks for watching. Peace out.